for game number 2 between the two giants. And LeBlanc is going to be the first man that comes out from LGD as Maokai is taken off the table as well. Siva and Vladimir are going to be the two bans that come out of EDG.
Yes, LGD get the luxury of one more ban, whichever they would prefer, instead of that Vlad.
Karma is the ban they're going to be throwing towards EDG, which they flex quite nicely between Mako and Scout.
I wonder if they ban Rise here and then we just swapped bans over anyway and it's the same 6. That'd be great.
It's possible.
Cross-team teamwork.
As it is the Rise that gets banned out by EDG, so now we have a chance for LG to make their first pick. As Marin is cycling through a couple of 80 carries, so might no longer look for his top lane pick and actually locks in Victor for Punished.
There you go. Higher priority on the Victor, knowing that Scout is in the roster. Unsurprising, honestly, except that they're just not picking for themselves, as there we go.
As Brom and Gragas are the two pickups that come out from EDG. I actually like this from LGD because Punished, he played well that game. He just wasn't a standout feature of the match.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he was solid, and it was what LGD needed. They didn't need anyone crazy in that middle lane. He didn't lose too hard to pawn. He did his part. And as far as I'm concerned, knowing what EDG have now locked in, would not be shocked to see another perhaps Hecarim.
Yep.
But LGD get the opportunities now.
Rek'Sai's left up and available as well. The Gragas pick into the Victor is, from what I've been told, a pretty good matchup.
Gragas into Victor, yeah, for the purpose of ganking it is quite handy. You can play the Azir with it also. And so if we see an Azir-Gragas combo, then it's safe to assume Punish is not going to have a great time.
As we're going to get a Gnar and a Twitch once again. LGD picking what they're strong with. Looking to go for a very similar team comp to what they played in game number 1 in game number 2 against EDG.
In fact, the potential for identical. As once again, the Hecarim and the Thresh could be how LGD round that out. We'll see how they go. Of course, you can see the last team compositions on your screen. EDG's response here, I am still expecting a control mage like the Azir in that middle lane. And Ezreal still works to me. I don't actually see any problems with what EDG picked. But it's up to them how they'd want to execute because they lost that first game. Strategies can change.
As EDG looking for those next 2 picks, they've already locked in their support and jungler, unless we see
address them with bans. They kept the Sivir taken away. Imp is a God mode Sivir player, but he's also quite good on this Twitch, we have found.
Imp is Imp's most played champion in Sivir, 8 games so far. And then his Twitch is tied up with Jhin, Ezreal, and Vayne.
And Vayne, yeah. Love it. Imp a very unique AD carry at the moment. He does prioritize hyper carrying, and he's one of the few AD carries that's holding true in that respect.
So now with this game, his Twitch become his second most played champion in the Summer Split of the LPL. As Scout looking for his pick of choice. Wouldn't be too surprised if he picks up his Azir as his most played champion. And his second would be the Victor. He's very comfortable on it.
Yeah. I'm expecting this. I'd be surprised if it was anything else. It fits EDG's composition, honestly, as a whole. There is going to be an interesting debate internally for Scout right now, though. How he plays this one out. And does the Victor also go for cleanse will probably dictate that.
Will they lock it in? So Scout's going to be playing the Azir into the mid lane with Exhaust. So far, Victor is still running the Ghost. Let's see if that changes once we get into game. Imp is actually running Cleanse. So Imp is opting not to go for the heal this game.
Yeah, we'll see if that's the commit from Imp. Of course, we'll know sooner or later. That is a style choice if ever I've seen one from Imp. That means he does not want to get stunned, but he will die to Mouse.
Throwback to season 3 now, coming up for the 80 carries, picking up the Cleanse.
Yeah, well, season 5 was last game, so let's just keep going.
Lots of...
Gragas mid, let's go.
It's possible. But Marin's going to be taking the Gnar back up to the top lane against Mouse on Irelia this time, so lots more kill threat for EDG up there. Not like Mouse was not already having kill threat on that Rumble.
The more direct kill threat, of course. Clearlove able to be the gank-heavy jungler now. Amy just wants to farm.
Well, let's see what these two junglers are going to do as we head on to Summoner's Rift for game number 2 between EDG and LGD. As we're back onto Summoner's Rift for game number 2 between LGD and EDG. LGD have shocked everyone now with their first match against EDG, looking really strong, taking them down in the first game as well. They're looking to do the exact same thing here as they head back on the Summoner's Rift with the exact same team composition that they took them out with in game 1.
Yeah, that's right, LGD. Currently 1-0 up against the #1 team in the LPL. EDG, they're resilient, if anything else. They have dropped games in the past, but not a single set has been lost by them. And so coming into this second game, you'd expect all guns blazing from this EDG roster.
They've played 9 sets so far. This is the 10th, and they've only dropped 4 games since then. That last game is now the 5th. So EDG, they're a powerhouse in the LPL at the moment. So you take a look at the Keystone Masteries that have been picked up. EOL has swapped over to Thunderlords. He's been converted into a believer of the Thunder.
That's good. He's actually adapting to the lanes. He knows that he's not against the Ezreal. Instead, knows he's against an Ashe and decides he wants more kill threat. Working with Imp as well, who doesn't have heal, might be an indication that they want to do more damage.
LGD, though, go to do the exact same thing they did in game number 1, which is they opt to go for a lane swap. EDG this time round, though, decide they want to go into standard lanes. So Mouse will be up into a 2-on-1 lane to start the game off.
Yeah, and I mean, look, he has Cleanse on Twitch. Not only is Twitch a pretty average laner, having Cleanse on Twitch makes him pretty bad at laning. So I understandably can see that LGD don't want to be in standard. We'll see how EDG play this one out, because LGD, formerly known and prided on their ability to play macro, PYL is the shot caller for this team. We'll see if they can execute, because it's been missing from them a little bit lately.
Well, let's see what they can do here. We're also going to see the mid lane pretty much isolated between Scout and Punish to start this game off. 2 control mages, so we shouldn't see too much happen there.
Yeah, mid lane should be relatively diffused.
Unless PYL does something really cheeky, like go for a level 1 gank on towards Scout, already being very aggressive, forced the flash away from the Azir to start this game off.
Yeah, Mouse was even on the way through, so things work out. A very nice early rotation for PYL. We already said his Thresh is uniquely good for him. That's because the movements that he makes on Summoner's Rift are very game-impacting, for better or for worse.
Once again, very good start from LGD. They're going to be starting off this lane swap. Eventually, we'll see the top laner join the support and the AD carry to try and push down the top lane outer turret. Amy actually looking to see if he can get a wraparound Scout.
Yeah, so Scout no flash, does have exhaust.
Let's see what happens here as Amy's going to be jumping in. Scout going to be able to streamer shuffle to get away, so good escape coming out from the Azir.
Yeah, so the thing is, by using that QE combo, the Azir is out of lane. That's all of his mana expended. That means that his lane pressure was effectively gone.
And he's gone back to base, which means this lane that's been frozen quite nicely for Punish going very heavily in his favor. And so if that happens, we get to take a look at the lane swaps that have been started here, and also a couple of signs for Marin and LGD.
And now a face.
And so we do see the iteration of lane swap continuing as the top lane outer turret for LGD will fall down and EDGs will be able to take down LG's bottom lane outer turret. And then we'll have to see where they send their members of the team from there.
Yeah, so once again, an early movement from PYL, you would imagine, sets their lane swap behind on the top side of the map, but only by a couple of seconds, because that means the Thresh wasn't auto-attacking. As Deft decided it's time to start the fire, Drake.
Mako comes up, puts the shield down and stops some of that dragon damage, but it is an Infernal Dragon. So very good early pickup for EDG, sorry. It seems like they knew that this is what they were getting into going to standard lanes since LGD went for the swap.
That's right. Getting the Fire Drake is actually very handy for EDG when you look at their scaling damage.
Amy, though. Oh, he's not going to wrap around. Those are two very low health bars on EDG.
Yeah, they had about 78 pings, as you can see on the minimap on top of
mid, though. Scout able to dodge away from the hook from PYL. Does get flayed backwards. Takes a lot of damage in return.
But he's winning the trade because Punished hasn't recalled. So you're expecting the 1,000 gold purchase from Punished, and he'll be close enough to that with the 35 CS that he has. In fact, he should have enough for a pink ward with it. And because they're pressuring Scout out, they're causing a lot of troubles in this middle lane. But Scout's containing himself. He's keeping composure. And generally speaking, he's coming out ahead from this.
He certainly is. He's actually tied up in terms of CS. You know, very calm and composed despite all the ganks that be thrown his way. Punish has been doing a good job as well on this Victor, and that's kind of what we expect in this Control Mage matchup, both of them to go fairly even in lane. As LGD actually send Marin up towards the top side of the map, so continuing the lane swap, EDG do the exact same thing by sending Def and Mako up top.
Marin also leaving that top lane at this moment. The question is, do they actually continue the standard lane swap? Because Marin's on the opposite side of the map. Granted, he has teleport.
Well, they're pushing in for it. So let's see if they send more people bottom, which seems to be the case as Marin is running his little legs off to try and get down towards the bottom side of Summoner's Rift.
I still stand by that being the best Gnar skin. I know that's entirely up for debate, right? Because the Gentleman's Gnar is fantastic.
I know Gnar as well.
I know, but that one's like...
He runs the aeroplane into the buildings.
I just like the frosted skins on everything.
Can't argue with that. Frostfire Annie is my favorite skin.
You're an Annie player. That's disgusting.
Over 2,000 games, Rusty.
I hope you feel bad.
Not at all, actually.
How very Annie of you to say.
As LGD and EDG continued this lane swap to the outer turrets in the top and bottom lanes before once again. No shenanigans coming out from either side. A Scout takes a Chaos Storm to the face. Punish going to be pushing him out of lane as much as he possibly can, just shoving the wave in towards Azir's turret.
And whilst a lot of Victors do that, that's not a very efficient way to use it, Punished. Probably hit a spell beforehand, because not proccing his Keystone Mastery of the Thunderlord's Decree means the damage went missing. And he didn't actually push Scout out of lane at all. In fact, he opened himself up, potentially, by not having that ultimate to being traded on.
He's sticking around. LG and EDG do trade the turrets on the other side of the map.
Marin immediately recalling. Instead of getting what he can from this lane swap, it means that perhaps he wants to go top lane, get standard lanes, and keep the minion wave close to Frozen so that Imp and PYL could go down there, but...
Punish. Oh, sorry. Was about to cut you off because I thought Gragas was coming in.
Nope. He's at the Grumpy. He's not going to go in, but once again, we're expecting the standard lanes to ensue. Marin actually dictating that, because I was saying the point and I was watching Imp walk top lane, but he does go bottom. Set up by Marin to go bottom. There is no turret, though, for both of them. And so it comes to where the junglers want to be. Amy can have some creative gank pathing on their Hecarim, but so can Clearlove. He's already picked his target.
It's going to be Marin. Actually, Mouse being very aggressive. Does get the stun down to level 3-9 mini form, as well as the flash fall from Clearlove. Picks up first blood for EDG.
And that's a big sheen buy from Mouse as well. They were looking to pressure him out and push him out of the lane. Marin behind in experience, behind in items, and now gets himself killed for it as Clearlove right place, right time.
It certainly was. So game starting off really well for EDG. I mean, there was no advantages being tipped by the team at the start of this lane swap. EDG do get a very small lead with the Infernal Dragon taken down early. And now Clearlove setting the pace up on the top side of the map. Marin's already falling behind in terms of CS. He's 15 down against Mouse.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of this was just hiding Imp with the cleanse because the 2v2 is weaker. Due to that fact, of course.
Well, Dragon's going to be coming up in 2 minutes. It's a Cloud Dragon, so shouldn't be heavily contested between these two teams. We saw last game when the Cloud Dragon spawned, they both kind of fizzled out, backed away, and just took a free objective when it was available.
Yeah, definitely. It's the nice-to-have objective right now. Deft also not 6. Means that their engages onto the AD carry of LGD aren't as great.
Especially with a cleanse on him.
That's right. There's only 1 stun available to them now. As I am still looking towards Amy to see if he can start getting things done. He's got PYL working with him now. Starting to set up vision with that Sightstone. But really yet to actually make those active movements, as thankfully has a jungle item this time.
On the flip side, Scout going for Berserker Greaves as a rush on Azir. Giving him a little bit more attack speed.
Berserker Greaves Morello-Nomicon, something that Icon has actually been building for about 3 weeks in the LPL, is now becoming the standard itemization for Azir. 6.13 onwards.
Amy now looking to be a little bit aggressive on the top side of the map. Going to be spotted out by the ward that was placed in the brush here. Marin trying to push out this wave. He is about 10 CS behind Mouse, and that's not even including the big wave that's about to crash on towards Mouse's turret.
Yeah, thankfully it will be crashing.
That was
Close enough.
That was a nice pink ward that was placed down by LGD. Spots out the deep lane ward from EDG.
Yeah, it's a clever one as well, because it stops the teleport flanks. So very good awareness from LGD that they don't want to die to Mouse. Especially with Clear Love pressuring. So they have hyper awareness of what's happening right now, and they could still actually run the risk of dying because of this. Def level 6 ideally wants to hit PYL.
Oh, LGD, in the meantime, they're able to take down the Rift Herald on the top side of the map. Deft is actually trying to freeze out this wave where he can. It will push back shortly, though.
And Clear Love's still here. Like, they're playing with fire, LGD. If Deft gets onto PYL, they kill him.
Well, they're trying to. There goes the Dark Passage to get him to safety. Actually, lots of damage going down towards Deft as he gets
this is
all
the go
minion
button.
aggregate. And they're looking for it. Here comes Clear Love over the wall. On 1 or 2. Hawkshot does come out. As Marin gets jumped on by Mouse, doesn't have a good time up on the top side of the map. He's actually still level 5 as well.
He's having a horrible time. Top side of the map. Marin not unlocked in game number 2. Feels like a lot of their emphasis is now still working around Imp. We are yet to see the Hecarim, but with a Thresh Lantern and a pink ward behind them, there is that possibility.
Certainly is. Let's see what happens so far. As here comes Amy actually down towards the bottom side of the map. Imp.
On a ward.
The minions will eventually move in towards the turret, but Imp actually going to get locked down by the exhaust. Then concussive blows. The arrow comes out, lands on PYL. Imp gets thrown backwards into the team. Clearlove gets the kill. PYL's going to be next. Even teleport cancelled by Mouse. EDG hit the go button.
And Clearlove's angry. That was sick from him. Actually throws the cask to where the lantern was sending him and hits the body slam after the cleanse flash from Imp. That's no cleanse available, no flash available in the bottom lane of LGD. They knew they were in trouble. Doesn't mean there was anything they could do.
On top of that, Mouse is just completely frozen Marin on the top side of the map. He's 30 CS down. Behind this, Aurelia was forced to move mid lane and even find some farm.
And here we are. We question the shot calling of LGD in a macro play. I honestly don't understand why Twitch has gone for cleanse, why Punished hasn't, and how this is now unfolding on Summoner's Rift as EDG. They're just winning through a crisp, clear League of Legends.
Certainly are. It's given them a 2,500 gold lead. A position we saw LGD take at the start of last game. We're not able to hold it, but still close out the game with a win.
Clearlove 2-0-1 right now, though. Very much focusing on getting ganks off. Still finds himself 4 CS ahead of Amy. This is honestly the start of the potential undoing of LGD already, because Marin is so far behind.
It certainly is. Mako's actually making his way up towards the top side of the map still.
And it's because Amy does not exist on Summoner's Rift.
Well, he's trying to. He's looking for a gank on towards Mouse. Mouse actually just dashed forward. Here comes Marin close to Mega now. They snare him backwards. Marin's going to turn Mega, but he's taken out so low. Misses the ultimate. Clearlove's jumping in with Mako as well. The support is going to try and take down the top laner. A scout shuffles into the top lane. Another double kill for EDG.
And that already feels like it's just too hard for LGD to respond. Scout works his way up. Not even a teleport mid laner. EDG get a full collapse of everybody there to help, and Mouse lives.
It feels like a reverse of game 1, Rusty. This time it feels like EDG know exactly where LGD are every single time, or every single point of this map, and are playing to it perfectly.
LGD and EDG are like two sides of a coin. There's chaos and there's order. It's actually like that at this point. Does EDG win when they can control the order of this game? LGD try and cause chaos, and that's how they win.
Marin's got to be careful. He's going to get knocked out by Clearlove here. Tries to bounce away. The Hawk shot will come on to spot some vision. Headbutts him mid-flash as well. So Summoner spell burnt by Marin. And it's another kill on towards the top laner. He is not having a good time.
They are just ripping their way through LGD right now. This is not legendary.
And teams do this all the time against LGD as well. Focus out Marin. Shut him down. Give him a bad game.
Well, I mean, the sad reality is they didn't even shut him out. They just froze top lane. LGD's response was not very LPL-esque. They didn't dive somewhere. They didn't threaten anywhere. Amy just farmed. And Clearlove had control of the area. And LGD couldn't win a 2v2 to save their lives. And so now their lives are just in jeopardy.
They certainly couldn't. Amy, meanwhile, is looking to try and see if he can take away a blue buff as he's 4,000 gold behind EDG. Very early into the game as well. Mouse actually being put down towards the bottom side of the map. Even PYL is trying to run away from this. Aurelia Ash Arrow comes down. A good dodge from PYL to get away from it. Im takes so much damage. Exhausters come down onto the Aurelia. Teleport into the back lines, but there's a flank from Clearlove and Scout just behind LGD.
Flank.
They're in a lot of trouble. The ultimate's going to separate PYL from his team. Nar goes in with the ultimate, but doesn't stun anyone up. He's going to get ripped to shreds. Punish comes in with the equalizer, trying to stop people as he tries to take it down, but a double kill will come out from Scout. Deft. And LGD Punish only be able to pick up a return kill. That's a 3-for-1 trade. EDG collapsed so well.
Yeah, Punish was close to a lot more kills as a result of that, but Marin is just too far behind that he's actually just not impactful. The ultimate not being able to stun people, it was close, but close is never enough. EDG get away with blinking health bars. That's now the difference between these two teams and between these two games.
On top of that, Deft, he's 4-0-2 in this Ashe, using the utility to start these fights off quite nicely despite the cleanse coming out from Twitch.
And the cleanse is not going to save him at this point. Scout's big. Clearlove is a monster. And even Mouse with that Trinity Force spike, you can see how much damage he was doing to the Twitch. They have one purpose right now, and it does feel like Game 1 tipped on its head. No longer is Deft the one in trouble. He's playing the Ashe. He's taking the back seat. The goal is to just kill Imp.
That was their Game 1 plan. It almost worked well. Imp might be in a little bit of trouble there. Gets tagged by the Winter Spite. Immediately goes invisible.
This is very well covered at the moment from this team. Only one kill to be seen for LGD. Punish probably the best performing member, honestly.
It's a 5,000 gold lead for EDG as well. So they finally look to take down the Cloud Dragon, which will not be contested by LGD at all.
Only because I must. The Cloud Drake fall. It's more about what's next.
It actually looked like it was going to be a Cloud Dragon again. Hopefully we get a look at that one.
Disaster.
So we look at the gold difference. 2,000 gold for Mouse on the top side of the map. 1,500 for Clearlove. Mid lane's even. And there's a 1,300 gold lead for Deft. So Punish is holding his own in the mid lane pretty well, but the rest of the map's just falling apart.
Yeah, absolutely right. Feels like Scout being brought back into this team is helping EDG out. Diffusal lane is all they really ask for. And once again, playing towards the jungle of EDG, letting him pick the map he wants.
Well, they're looking for a gank on towards Mouse here. There's the ultimate coming up from Amy, knocks him back instantly. Chaos Storm is going to miss the Irelia, but they're still looking for the dive. Trying to get lots of damage back down. The tower dive from Amy takes so much damage. The flash for Punish does get the laser. Gets to the lance and he's able to get out. So they finally find a pick for themselves.
Now, the tenacity increase from Aurelia's passive is enough to get him the flash, but doesn't save his life in the end. Much needed respite, you would think, for LGD is the end result of this, but it doesn't exist. There's no such thing anymore.
So they dive the top lane with three members of LGD. EDG used the other three to take down the mid lane outer turret, so a good trade from the undefeated lineup.
Yeah, still a fantastic trade. Deft even confident enough to stand next to Marin and go toe-to-toe with what was usually the big threat.
He's 2 levels above the top laner and just going all in on towards him. The ultimate from Clearlove knocks him back out of the death sentence. Will come out there trying to lock down Mako. Instant teleport being popped by Mouse trying to get into the fight. Imp finds a kill. Looking to go as a death, but it's a massive body slam that comes out from Clearlove. They get 2 more kills, and even though Clearlove falls, it's still a 3-for-2 trade.
And this is still beneficial for EDG. It doesn't look like they're going to be slowing down anytime soon, as we may be at 18 minutes. But they are a complete coverage of the map.
They certainly are. Bottom lane inner turret will be taken down off the back of that team fight. EDG They are steamrolling through LGD. It might have been a close game in game 1, but this game has just been broken wide open.
Yeah, close got blown out of the water around the 30-minute mark for LGD in that first game, but this is so much earlier, and this has so much control. EDG, they've turned it on again.
They certainly have. They are now 8,000 gold ahead of LGD, just 18 minutes into the game as well, with so many fantastic tools to engage team fights. This is going to be a tough game for LGD.
You were going to come into this and ask me a question, Fish, weren't you?
Yeah, LGD back, Rusty.
Nah. They're not. You never really know with LGD. We already spoke towards it. They're star players in a team. Mm-hmm. It feels like they're just not a team in this game.
No one saw that.
Saw what? I didn't see anything. Relly didn't miss that stun. You missed your stun. You're in Aurelia.
The arrow does come out from Def. Hits the field goal between Imp and Punished.
But they can actively do that constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time the Ashes ultimate is off cooldown, it's a cooldown reduction build as well for Def. Like 50 seconds maybe, I think is how long he has to wait. Rinse and repeat until it hits. Follow it up nicely. Clear Love unfortunately doesn't have flash, so in that respect their follow-up's lacking to an extent. But Scout can pick up that slack. Here he goes again.
He's looking to try and get a flank on towards Imp there. He actually gets knocked straight in towards the Arella. Imp gets obliterated by the engage coming out from EDG. They're going to take another inner turret for this.
It just feels too easy for them. Everywhere that Imp goes, he's running into trouble. I still don't get why he had cleanse in the first place, but you can't cleanse that Gragas cask.
He still got it.
You can't cleanse damage.
It's Punish uses the laser to try and clear out the minion wave, crashing on towards the top lane inner turret. EDG were looking to try and push for that objective. Mouse was split pushing in the mid lane.
Yeah, and Marin's bottom, so Mouse can actually do this to a degree of success. 0-5 with half the CS of his lane opponent. It feels so polarizing to watch these two games unfold. LGD are entirely different, but EDG are a brand new beast.
Marin is a level behind both of the AD carries. That is how far behind they have set him back in this game.
Yeah, and it's actively setting him back as well. Get freeze of farm for Mouse. Give him these opportunities to get that Trinity Force spike, and the snowball's well and truly there. He's going for the Ghostblade build. Doesn't need the more of Malmortius. Doesn't value the magic resistance as highly as killing people, catching up to them and dueling them.
LGD looks like they're really relying on Punish, who's the only member that's been keeping up him ahead of CS against Scout. Has 3 kills as well.
I mean, they do need a saving grace in this game. I don't know if Punish can be that. He's consistently getting better as the weeks progress for this middle lane of LGD. But everyone has limits. This might be beyond it. I mean, I'd expect it to be beyond it.
Well, EDG actually managed to find a flank on towards Imp. Uses the Ghost by trying to run. Ultimate comes out from Def. Misses the Twitch, who is still trying to get the safety. Can't actually run away fast enough. Hawkshot now going to spot him out. The ultimate actually comes out from Clear Love across the wall. Def just stands and delivers against the Twitch. Picks up another kill. A good pick for EDG.
It just keeps happening. Imp way too far out. There's no reason for him to be there if they don't have control of the jungle.
And Free Dragon, it's not a Cloud Dragon, it's actually an Infernal Dragon that spawns next. EDG will be able to pick that one up.
They definitely will. And it feels like, again, LGD, usually in losing situations, you play a game of trades. And so what is the next movement going to be when they hit the Drake? Unfortunately, because they're losing so hard, the answer is nothing. Marin thinks he's getting some farm finally and that he's happy about life.
Yeah, there's a Aurelia nearby, buddy. Be careful.
If you ever push your luck for 1 second too long, you die. It just does not end.
A much stronger game number 2 coming out from EDG. LGD looked impressive. They looked strong in game 1. They took the same team composition coming into game 2, but it's just fallen apart. Or, frankly, dissected by EDG so far.
Yeah, they pick an early gank jungler. Rek'Sai usually would fit that trend, but the Gragas threat was too real. It was more the lane swap as well that set LGD back. They found themselves in standard lanes in game number 1. They're able to cause chaos with Amy in that jungle position, actually getting ganks off, beating Clearlove to the punch a couple of times, and reliably being able to source their damage through their team. Game number 2, they start a lane swap, put into effect, end up losing it out. And as a result, they lose a lot for it, as Baron's been kicked off with Scout behind the pit.
Clearlove and Scout just trying to duo out this Baron. No one else from EDG looking to help. Mouse is actually still split pushing the bottom side of the map. Deft and Mako are just waiting to try and look for a fight. Arrow comes out. PYL flashes for the hook. Misses it. Amy is looking to try and see if he gets to the back lines. Mouse is going on top of Punish as Baron falls down to EDG. Punish is able to take down Mouse. Ip is trying to do what he can. He's getting a lot of damage down towards EDG who are running across the pit. As Punish will eventually fall down as two members of LGD falling for just the one of EDG, and Baron buff falls to their team.
Yeah, Imp and PYL are still standing, so they might be able to look for some kind of defense, but mounting any defiance is a difficult thing to ask for, as they've spotted Marin.
It just doesn't stop for him, as he's going to have to try and jump in towards the Dark Passage, gets away from the help of PYL, but he has to just keep running now.
And Clearlove, with less than half health, is still able to be the aggressor constantly. He is definitely back with a vengeance in this second game.
He certainly is. Dark Clearlove has been turned on after the first game. And as Def is going to be doing a little bit of counter jungling on his own, puts a pink ward down in its place.
And that was such a clear-cut Baron take as well. They worked around it. They had 2 pink wards in the pit. They waited for the blue trinkets, and only the last one was able to spot it most of the way through. Punished is doing his best. He's absolutely trying his hardest to keep LGD in this 4-1. But it's not going to be enough.
Deft is currently 8-0-4 on Ashe. He is a monster right now for EDG.
He flashed forward to kill Punish in that last one.
So now Maker in a little bit of trouble here. Gets caught out by PYO and Amy, but is able to jump back to his teammates, get to safety. An 11,000 goal lead has grown for EDG. Just 25 minutes into this game.
It feels unachievably large for the opposition team now as well. EDG with this Baron buff should be able to secure themselves most of the map. As you would expect, the average of about the 2 turrets or 3,000 gold to be seen with a Baron spike. EDG have decided that the outer turret is the easier way to do this and let Mouse work the rest of the map as the arrow's on.
PYL's dead.
Mega dead. That was gross. It was pretty easy.
Rinse and repeat for EDG. Now they're pushing on towards the bot lane inhibitor turret. EDG already get a single pick on towards the supporter. Now looking for more punish. Going to get knocked up by the ultimate. Clearlove knocks him back into the rest of the team. Maker will die for his troubles. Amy's trying to save the rest of the lineup. If does get a kill. Now he's being soloed out. Marin's going to the back lines. Gets a good stun down, but Scout's there, dealing so much damage with the help of Clearlove. That's an ace that will be coming out from EDG very later on to this. As Def now has to try and get out of the base. Decides he just wants to kill the turret instead. PYL comes over the wall. Takes a lot of damage from Ashe. They have to be a little bit careful here.
It's a bit awkward. Def doesn't have flash. There's no minion waves coming yet. He's waiting. There we go.
We'll get to mid lane. Clearlove now in a little tricky situation. The box will come out. Lots of damage comes down. Dark Passage heals him up. The bot comes out from Clearlove to pick up another kill into his KDA belt. Just as the mid lane inhibitor turret falls, and Def's going to take the inhibitor down.
And we'll see if they can get anything further than this. It's unlikely, but Clearlove actually just styled on PYL. He stood still. The hook missed, and then he bopped him. As if insult to injury. That's one inhibitor down, and you would expect the rest are not too far away.
Have a drink and a cake to the face. Clearlove, he is 6-1-12. There's a reason why he's KDA King of the Jungle, and he's showing it again in this game.
Yeah, that and Deft, as you mentioned earlier, basically playing carry with his facilitative role. EDG, they've shown that with Scout, their recipe for success is definitely valid. They have a mid laner that plays a control mage. They have a top laner that can do either, has the role swap. And they have the AD carry that does a bulk of the damage and carrying with Mako to back it up.
15,000 goal lead for EDG at the moment. LGD are holding on for their dear lives right now. Even that's not enough right now.
Their lives aren't very expensive at the moment, Fish. I don't know if they're dear lives anymore. They actually get cheaper every single time someone dies.
We've gone from musical chairs to this. What's
Musical
next,
chairs
Rusty?
reference was great. Have you seen IG's roster? You might call it the chicken dance next time.
Well, LGD are putting on that best impression at the moment as they're trying to hold on for their not-so-expensive lives. Dragon will fall down for EDG. It's an Ocean Dragon. They've got so many under their belt. Another one to follow in 6 minutes if the game even lasts that long.
And it feels like EDG are just trying to beat them as convincingly as possible at this point.
Doing it fantastically too.
Ideally, with a lead this large, you just walk down mid. You'd win a team fight and win the game with it, but there is an open top lane inhibitor to take. They have Mouse who has teleport, so they can threaten the bottom lane.
Which is probably what they're going to be starting to do. Scouts and Def are still pushing up on the top side of the map. Mouse, like you mentioned, is now making his way towards the bottom, trying to go toe-to-toe against Marin and provide that teleport threat for EDG, who just waltz in on towards their base. They're looking to try and take down this inhibitor.
They'll just throw the arrow.
Runs up first, puts down the shield. Marin in a lot of trouble. Going to get one-on-one here by Mouse. Takes him down the bottom lane, creating a 4-on-5 with the teleport available.
Really clinical stuff once again from EDG. That's the second inhibitor that goes down. They can work around the bottom lane. And as I said, as holistic as possible, they turn it on.
Arrow goes on to PYL as well as the ultimate coming up from Brom. He has to flash away to safety. Imp pops his ultimate, gets a lot of shots down towards Mako, but gets obliterated by the Gragas ultimate. Mouse has joined the fray as well, but teleported to the back lines. It's 3-on-5 with minions crashing on towards the turrets. EDG are looking for the game here. A body bomb comes out for Clearlove. PYL gets taken down, and that's all she wrote for LGD as EDG are able to tie up the series 1-1 in very convincing fashion.
Yeah, it felt like it took a little while to end the game, but EDG tried to make it as clean-cut and convincing as possible. The gold lead was unreasonably large. Scout joins the roster, but it was Clearlove and Deft that just absolutely styled on everybody on the map.
That's basically the summary of that game. EDG, Dark Clearlove joins them as well once Pawn leaves the lineup. He puts on a show from start to finish. He had so many highlight moments in that game.
Yeah, he definitely did. Clearlove went off. Def did his part. They played the lane swap well as a team as well. EDG, it felt like from the first minute in that game, they had a complete control.
They certainly did. LGD on the flip side, it seemed like they had the right idea. They threw PYO into the mid lane. Amy went there once to try and get a gank, and then there was nothing else from LGD afterwards.
Yeah, it just felt like one small thing, and this is the problem with playing against EDG. This could have happened in game number 1, but didn't. Is you make a mistake, you give them an opportunity, you watch them take everything from you with it. The flash was great just there from Mouse, but look at the collapse. This is everybody from EDG top lane, as if they knew that 2 people from LGD were trying to cheese the 2v1.
And that was very similar to what happened in game 1, just in the reverse order. LGD, they seemed like they had EDG's number up, knowing exactly where they were on the map. This time EDG just showed them how to do it, and how to do it even more convincing fashion.
Yeah, and it's funny, like, the way LGD played this game was just poor through the early game. They had the exact same team composition that we watched them win with in game number 1. They had themselves set up the best way they possibly could, but they just could not do it as effectively as they did in the first.
It certainly couldn't. It was a whitewash performance. I'm interested to see if LGD are going to do the exact same draft here, because it's 2 games in a row with the exact same team comp. EDG have proven they don't mind giving that away.
Yeah, well, something has to change for LGD in game number 3 if this is how they're going to play against it from now on. We said holistic, we said well covered, it was a whitewash. EDG, they did it very emphatically. And so LGD, they need to go back to the drawing board. Maybe just pick for themselves if they do the same comp again.
They certainly do. Well, they did pick for themselves in game number 2. Didn't work out too well as the series is now tied up 1-1, but we still have the third and final game of the night coming up. Don't go anywhere.